How's it going, everybody? Today's video, we're going to be talking about Spider Slayer. Because a lot of people saying, like, should I even build this character? Because mechanically, doesn't seem to be doing the job. So in this video, we're going to explore that topic. We're going to talk about what Spider Slayer brings, what the alternative Sinister Six characters bring, what it all kind of means for the team, what the team needs to accomplish, and then we'll give, like, a recommendation. We're looking mostly at Crucible here, but we'll touch on War as well. Let's get into the video. Alright, so let's start this off by looking at Spider Slayer. So Spider Slayer, very basic kind of character, right? So he's doing piercing damage, he bonus attacks, he applies offense up to a non-summoned Sinister Six ally with the highest damage that doesn't already have it, and it cannot be dodged. Kind of a cool little basic there. His special, which is his opening attack, he attacks all enemies for 300% piercing, flips offense up, evade, and speed up, and if there is a Spider-Verse enemy, it'll instead attack for 400 piercing, so it's an additional 100%. He then applies defense up and deflect to self and all villain allies. Now, for the most part, this is good, and the fact that it's villain allies means that maybe plug and play, but also not really. The detriment here is that against an enemy Skrull, this will work against you, right? So that is kind of concerning. The ultimate is kind of his shining moment if the match lasts this long. So he applies offense up to self and all Sinister Six allies. He attacks the primary target for 350% piercing with 100% drain, flipping 2 positive effects to negative effects. Repeat this attack an additional time, so it is going to do the damage, the drain, and the flip again. So you're getting additional flips. He then calls 2 Sinister Six allies with the highest damage to attack the primary. They're going to have offense up. So this is like it's a kill shot is what it is. And the attack ignores defense up. I'm not sure if this means that the Sinister Six allies that are called in also ignore defense up, but I think so. Could be mistaken there. On spawn. So this is where the question comes in, right? What's the validity behind this character? On spawn, he's applying offense up to self and all Sinister Six allies, not Superior Six, Sinister Six. If there is an enemy Spider-Verse, he generates 1 ability energy for self, which means he could use his ultimate turn 1. So if there's a Spider-Verse enemy, he can do ultimate turn 1. For himself and the Sinister Six team, again, not Superior Six, he's giving 20% armor, 20% damage, and in Crucible, when this character or any Sinister Six ally has offense up, gain 100% accuracy. And there's a little bit of confusion here. We've been told he is only getting the accuracy himself. I think this is what the JSON file shows. But in a video, apparently they said it's for the entire team. We'll have to test that. Either way, I don't think the Sinister Six team is like slotted to be the Tangled Web counter. That seems like a complete waste. We have so many different counters to Tangled Web at this point. Who cares, right? Who cares? All right, let's go look at Mysterio now. So Mysterio, he's clearing positive effects on his basic. In War, he gets evades, who cares? His special, apply blind to primary, but not really. There's 2 characters or Superior Six allies apply blind to all enemies, and he's doing that in Crucible. Blinding the entire enemy team is huge. He's also doing a 2-turn ability block to the primary, 1 to a random adjacent ally. In War, he gets the extra focus. He doesn't in Crucible, so you're probably going to want to make him a skirmisher for Crucible. He gains an assist from random Sinister Six ally, and gains an assist from a random ally. So just a lot of attacks coming in. The ultimate, he does damage. If there's 2 Superior Six allies, flip all positive effects. Flipping all positive effects is crazy. And again, that's not gated behind War. 2 turns of heal block, 2 turns of disrupt, and then he summons a mirror image. Who cares again? The focus is hidden behind War, so in Crucible, you probably want to be a skirmisher. Here's where he kind of really comes into his own, Mysterio does, though. Applying 2 deflect to self and all Sinister Six allies, so a little bit of defense on spawn. He gains immunity. In War, 2 charges up to maximum, and then he summons his dupes. And his dupes do a buff clear on their basic. That's important to note. So if Mysterio has 2 Superior Six allies, enemies cannot gain immunity. This gives Mysterio a secret superpower against enemy Apocalypse. Because this does affect Apocalypse, even though Apocalypse also spawns in with Safeguard, he will not have immunity. So whenever we see an Apocalypse team we're eyeing to take out with our Sinister Six or Superior Six hybrids, Mysterio is kind of getting like a really close look. So already it's like, is Mysterio automatically better than Spider Slayer? He's giving blind to the entire enemy team. He's doing 2 turns of ability block to the primary, 1 adjacent. He can flip all positive effects. He can give 2 turns heal block, 2 turns disrupt. And he can prevent an enemy apocalypse from getting immunity. Also, he's giving Spider-Verse allies focus and Spider-Verse allies max health as well, 20%. So that's pretty good. We're going to save our judgment for the end here. Let's go look at Vulture. He does damage. His special will flip 2 positive effects, applying offense down and slow for 2 turns. His ultimate does a 25% turn meter rewind. His passive is very selfish. So his passive, he gets speed bar per hero. On ally or enemy death, he gains deflex and he fills his speed bar. He gets block chance per hero, gains drain, and if he's 2 or more superior 6 allies, Sinister 6 allies gain 50% drain. So that drain is nice. Now the part for his team is when he has 2 superior 6 allies and any enemy has speed up. That's important to qualify. The enemy has to have speed up. Well, he applies speed up to self and all Sinister 6 allies, and if this is on the offensive side, he clears speed up from the enemies, and he applies slow for 2 turns to all enemies. Here's the thing. This is definitely better in War. There's lots of enemy teams that spawn with speed up in War. Makes this very valuable. In Crucible, we kind of touched on this when we talked about Spider Slayer. This is not like a Tangled Up counter. So we're not looking at 29.9 being like, oh, we'll use Sinister 6 because, you know, 29 starts to speed up. Same with Big Time. Unless it's like a Big Time scroll, then possibly this comes into play. Secret Defenders, they don't get speed up on spawn. Gamma doesn't. Unlimited doesn't. Black Order does, which is why we're using them there right now, but it feels like a waste. Quicksilver doesn't. Darkhold doesn't. So it's... This part of it seems like, although it's active in Crucible, is more catering towards the war counters. So from that regard, I would say that Vulture's kind of a selfish character. He's not giving as much to his team as Mysterio and possibly Spider Slayer, but again, we'll save our final judgment for the end. Lizard. Is there any world where we would rather, you know, stash Lizard than Mysterio? I'm not going to hold my judgment here. Yes, no. No way do you want to bench Lizard. His turn 1 ability, copy clear all positive effects from all enemies to self and spread all positive effects, excluding these, to the entire Sinister 6 team. He's faster. He gets deflex to the Sinister 6 team. If there's a Spider-Verse enemy, he's the first character to go. He gives Superior 6 50% resistance. Lizard might be the second best Superior 6 member. He might be. I'm super excited to get my hands on Lizard and play with him. Lizard is a phenomenal character. His special is also going to clear a bunch of negative effects. He'll heal from it as long as he doesn't have trauma. And he does a bunch of cool stuff too, right? Lizard's a fantastic character. Let's go look at Kraven the Hunter. So Kraven, he is just doing damage, playing offense down. His special is a turn 1 ability block, flipping immunity, and giving offense down to each target. So that's kind of the chain. Only the primary target gets flipped immunity and ability block. In Crucible, he'll also apply ability block to all controllers, and he gains extra crit chance against support. Cannot be dodged, cannot be counterattacked. His ultimate is a bunch of damage. Offense down, slows, flips all death proof, flips stealth. He clears his own charge. This isn't clear enemy charge. Don't get that mistaken. And if a target is offense down, he'll apply 2 additional bleeds and apply slow. Because this is his turn 2 ability, that's normally what's going to happen. Alright, so what does he bring to his team, besides the ability block, the offense downs? So if there's 2 or more Superior 6 allies, he applies Safeguard to them. He applies Safeguard to the team. That's an automatic bring, alright? What has made the Infinity Watch team last the test of time? It's been Safeguard. So, when this character gains charge, they not have charge, he flips stealth and disrupt on all enemies as well. On enemy turn, he'll flip slowed on a non-summoned ally, so he's protecting you from falling behind. He also flip that heal block, so whenever Doc Ock does a block, he's then healing the team, not getting cucked by the heal block. And enemies with offense down cannot gain death proof. And to top it all off, he's giving 60% focus to the Sinister 6 allies, alright? Again, very good character, definitely not going to be the one to sit out. So let's look at Doc Ock then. Doc Ock does slow on his basic. He does summon, he applies charge. That's important for characters like Green Goblin, like, who else is charged on this team? Kraven is charged. Spider Slayer is not charged. Electro is charged, not really, we're not talking about Electro here. But the charge is most impactful on the Green Goblin passive, which we're going to talk about in a second. He's also then summoned in, most likely, Shocker. Shocker is then giving you offense up. He does a turn mid rewind on his second turn. Very impactful ability. The ultimate will flip positive effects and prolong the negative effects as well. Cannot be counterattacked or dodged. And then on his passive, he has so much for his team. Like, Green Goblin is definitely the damage leader on his team, but Doc Ock is the mechanics leader on his team, okay? So he's giving chargeable Sinister Six 15% damage. He's giving all Sinister Six block chance. All Sinister Six 40% max health. That's a lot of health. He makes them basically immune to offense down, unless it's a flip. I think flips they bypass that. Whenever a character drops below 20% life, he'll fill that character's speed bar by 100% and clear hero block, okay? So this filling their speed bar by 100%, if they're not dead, they're then getting to kind of take an enemy out with them, or at least do something impactful. So this is very important to the team. On block, he'll heal self and all Sinister Six. So he doesn't just heal one character. He heals everybody for 20% of his max health. And then on turn, if charged, gain deflect plus 2 speed up to a maximum of 5. Apply 1 deflect, 1 speed up to a maximum of 5 to all adjacent allies, and then lose 1 charge. So it's important to do his position. So Doc Ock, another very impactful character. And the last character we want to talk about here is going to be Green Goblin, the newest legendary character. He, of course, makes this team. But I want to talk about what he brings to the team and what he benefits from. So, his basic does defense down, in Crucible, extra crit chance on Spider-Verse for each Spider-Verse character that is present. That includes offense and defensive side. His special, he'll gain offense up. It's important to note, on his special, he does gain offense up and speed up. Clears barrier, huge rewind, flip positive effects, apply trauma heal block, in Crucible, apply 2 trauma instead. If the primary target has safeguard, instead gain offense up and speed up for 2 turns. Attack primary, reduce speed bar by an additional amount, okay? His ultimate, which is his opening ability, doesn't gain offense up here. Keep that in mind. Clear barrier on all enemies. Attack all enemies for 150% damage plus 75% damage against any target with safeguard. Flip 1 positive effect to negative. Apply heal block. Blah, 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 blah. Reduce speed bar by, this is 10% total when you have a full Sinister Six team. Remember, for every Sinister Six member you take out, maybe to put in Apocalypse or Skrull, that is being reduced by 2 times 3, okay? Because he's going to repeat this attack 2 times, which means he does it 3 times total. So that's a 30% rewind with the full team. Damage, it'll put trauma out if the enemy doesn't have any sort of buffs, which is fantastic. And if this character has 1 or more Sinister Six protector allies, apply safeguard to all Sinister Six. One of the other reasons why we're going to be bringing in Lizard, for sure, giving that safeguard to everybody. On spawn, he gains charged. In Crucible, fill speed bar by 9% per Superior 6 ally, not Sinister Six. Very important. 9% speed bar on spawn is a game changer in a lot of different matches, including, we got to remember, Skrull. So Skrull gets a lot of speed bar on spawn for buffs. We want to make sure we're maximizing our Goblin speed if we're trying to use him to take out that enemy. On Crucible offense, apply 2 defense up to self and all Superior 6 allies. That is his empowered ability. You can kind of ignore that. It's not something he brings to the team. It's something that happens automatically in this current season. So while he's charged, he lowers damage of all enemies by 15%, lowers resistance by 200, and ability blocks and vulnerables cannot be applied to self and all Sinister Six or any Sinister Six allies. This is another reason why Doc Ock is really good with Goblin. Keeps him charged, keeps this passive active. At the end of a turn, if this character has charge, he's attacking, he's applying defense down, speed up, all that kind of stuff, and losing 1 charged. All right, let's break this down to kind of a simpler deduction here. Now, we're going to look at everybody but Green Goblin, because Green Goblin we know 100%, 100,000% is going to be making the team after reading his kit. And as you can see, it's pretty skewed right away. So Spider Slayer is giving 20% damage to Sinister Six. He's giving offense up on spawn. He does big damage. He has 122 speed. So he's not the fastest character on the team by far. Vulture, in short, if the enemy has speed up, Sinister Six gains 1 speed up. He clears the enemy speed up, applies 2 slow to the full team, and then on his first turn, he does buff strips, 2 offense down, 2 slow, and on his second turn, 25% turn meter rewind with 127 speed, meaning he's going very quickly on the team. So he is an impactful offensive character for sure. Remember, all that passive stuff is on the offensive side. Mysterio. 2 deflects on spawn to Sinister Six. He does anti-immunity when he has Superior 6 allies. 20% focus and max health to Superior 6. The dupes do a buff strip. They also tank for you, which is nice. His turn 1 is an ability block and full team blind on the enemy. or his turn 1 could be a disrupt and heal block, 2 turns to the enemy as well. The problem with Mysterio is he does have 110 speed, which means he ends up going very slowly. The biggest problem with Mysterio is if he's not getting speed up or he's not having the enemies rewound, he kind of has a hard time reaching his turn, even with the dupes, because the 110 is very, very slow. Lizard, 50% resistance to Sinister Six, plus 3 deflect to Sinister Six on spawn. So he's kind of doing what Mysterio is doing already. He has taunt, of course. His turn 1 is a copy, clear, and spread of all enemy positive effects. And if there's a Spider-Verse enemy, he's getting an additional speed boost. Let's look what that speed boost is real quick. 40%. So if there's a big time on the enemy team, he's going to go, and he'll probably end up going before Skrull, which will be very impactful. Then Skrull is going to be stuck hitting Lizard, right? So that's very important. His turn 2 is a debuff clear, and he already boasts a healthy 126 speed, so he's not a slow reptilian whatsoever. Kraven is giving 60% focus, on-spawn safeguard, turn 1 ability block, and offense down. He does big damage, 125% speed. He, upon investigation, is pretty close to Spider Slayer. Lots of damage, a little bit on the slower side, 122 versus 125. Where Kraven becomes an obvious choice is that safeguard. And then Doc Ock. 40% max health to Sinister Six, 20% block chance Sinister Six, 50% damage to chargeable Sinister Six, on block heal all Sinister Six, turn 1, plus recharges Sinister Six. The Shocker turn me to rewind. He has 124 speed, so he's a little bit on the slower side too, unless he's getting sped up. Alright, so what is the conclusion here? Who's the best? Well, it might surprise you. The best team for Crucible is going to be the entire Superior 6 team. It's not going to be Mysterio. It's not going to be Vulture. It's sure as heck not going to be Electro, Rhino, or Shocker. And the reason for that is because of this guy right here, Green Goblin. What does Green Goblin do? Green Goblin does insane damage on his passive. With Spider Slayer, he's going to be doing extra damage. 20% increased damage to Green Goblin, plus offense up on spawn. Offense up, 50% damage buff. Crazy, right? He's going to be crushing. He wants to ult on his first turn, because it hits everybody 3 times. Peels through dodges, peels through death proofs, all that kind of stuff. He wants to do that with offense up. So that's going to absolutely smash when you have a Spider Slayer. What else does he need Lizard for? Well, Lizard's going to do the pre-taunt. He's going to then put Safeguard on Lizard, because that is a protector. Kraven's giving the Goblin Safeguard. And yeah, he's also getting plus damage from Doc Ock. Thank you, Gnomes. So he's chargeable. He's getting additional charges from the Doc Ock. That's why you want the full 4-piece around Goblin, because Goblin is what's going to make this team purr. Plus that 9% speed bar that we talked about for each Superior 6 member. This makes him go first in a lot of important matchups, especially against enemy Skrull teams, depending on what the other enemy is bringing in as well, right? So it might surprise you that the newest characters are going to be the best for the game mode that they were designed for. However, you gotta remember, Apocalypse exists. And when I did the playtest for this team, Apocalypse was a thorn in the side. Now, we never trust the playtest footage. We just don't. It's not accurate. It never feels accurate. Put that away. But Mysterio mechanically neutering the Apocalypse so that he can be turned around, so he can be ability blocked, so that he can be stunned with trauma, so he can, whatever we're trying to do, right? Mysterio is the default 6th member of the Superior 6 team when we need to take on Apocalypse. When we need to take on Infinity Watch, he'll also help there, removing their immunity. When we need to take on, who else has immunity that's important? Basically nobody. Basically nobody. So when we're trying to quickly kill Infinity Watch members or taking on Apocalypse, Mysterio probably comes in, and he does probably replace Spider Slayer. So that is your decision to make. Do you want to build a Spider Slayer for all the other matches, because it's going to make it so much faster, so much more efficient, it's going to be so much deadlier, especially on the defensive side? If you're throwing this on defense, you definitely want to have all 5 Superior 6 members. But if you want to cheap out, Mysterio is the option. It's not Vulture. Vulture's he's too selfish of a character. That speed up mechanic that he's stealing and giving to his team, that's not really applicable, especially because you can't put that on defense at all then. But also on the offensive side, there's no defensive team currently that like we're afraid of because they have speed up on spawn, right? That doesn't really exist right now. Lizard, Kraven, not replaceable in my opinion. Same with Doc Ock. So that's my advice for Crucible. Look, if you're trying to have the best Crucible team, you do want to build up Spider Slayer. If you are trying to be resource savvy, you take a slight step down and you replace Spider Slayer with Mysterio. But the benefit of that is that Spider Slayer sucks in war. All right, nobody cares about Spider Slayer in war. It's not that he sucks. It's that Mysterio and Vulture are so much better in war because of the type of enemy teams that you're seeing in war. We're talking about Infestation, we're talking about New Avengers, we're talking about Skrull teams, we're talking about Gamma. All those kind of teams, they want to be hit by a Mysterio and a Vulture combination. And so you end up dropping probably Spider Slayer, and depending on the war matchup, if you also got to drop a second character, you might be dropping Kraven because you don't need to feed into that safeguard on the offensive side if you know what's coming at you, right? So if you're trying to be resource savvy, I would say Mysterio is the default 5th member for the Crucible team. But if you want to be, you know, you want the Apex Crucible team, and this is the Apex Crucible team, don't get it twisted, you're going to want to build a Spider Slayer. That's it for this video, guys. I hope that breakdown and just kind of the understanding of how this team is functioning helps you out. If it did, make sure you leave a like and a comment in the description, in the comment sections below. And as always, stay happy, healthy, have fun. We'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. All right, psych. Here we come back. So a question was just asked in the chat that I think is very important. Do you think there's any chance to make 2 good war teams out of all of them? You can make 2 decent war teams out of all of them. Or you can have 1 amazing team and 1 questionable team. I know there's lots of interesting mechanics on Rhino stripping off charges. I know Shocker, as a standalone character, he's still doing his rewind. I know Electro absolutely smashes. She smashes. But what Lizard is going to bring to the table, along with Green Goblin, that negates the need for Electro entirely. The damage that Green Goblin is putting out with the additional charges, with either having offense up from Spider Slayer, that additional damage, or just from the control Mysterio Vulture can put out. A secondary Sinister Six team is only going to greatly reduce the potentiality of what should be your main Sinister Six team. So I think you build 1 Crucible team, the entire Superior Six, or with Mysterio as a sub, or you build up all 6, so you can kind of have that flex and take out Apocalypses if the need arises. And for War, I think the team, we're going to build up Vulture. We're going to have to do that. So it's going to be Goblin, Vulture, Mysterio, Doc Ock, Lizard. That's for offense. Kraven can come in there too, and then we're going to probably be subbing out either Vulture or Mysterio, depending on the enemy that we're taking off. Do we need blinds and ability block? Are we trying to do anti-speed? Then we're going to be subbing one of them out for Kraven. Anyway, let's end the video there, guys. Once again, hope you stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now. That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.